All right, we're back with more of the #1 Cochran Sports Showdown, talking about the Steelers, and now we'll kind of digress into what's happening around the AFC North, for example. Andrew, Baltimore Ravens have won 19 straight preseason games. Do you draw any conclusion based on those numbers?
Well, John Harbaugh likes to play starters. He likes to play Lamar Jackson in these games. You know, he's the antithesis of what we see from guys like Sean McVay and Kevin Stefanski in Cleveland, where they don't play the guys at all. You know, Baltimore, I think, very much slept on right now. I'm very guilty of this too, Bob, where I'm talking so much about the Browns because the splashy moves they've made. You know, the Ravens won a playoff game last year. The Ravens have a guy that's won the MVP in the last 2 years. All 3 years, Lamar Jackson has been the starting quarterback in Baltimore. They've gone to the playoffs every year. You know, is there going to be room for 3 teams out of the AFC North in the playoffs this year? I don't think so. They're not playing the NFC East again this year, Bob. So I think we sleep on Baltimore. I would anticipate that they get off to a good start because they're doing what you love, Bob. They're putting eggs in the preseason basket. There's not going to be rust when we get to week 1.
I like that. Yeah, you're right about that. Chris, what do you say?
Yeah, I don't think it means anything. I mean, it's a cool number to flash up on the screen. It gives us something to talk about, that the Ravens never lose preseason games. But I disagree, Pony. I think there is room for 3 AFC North teams in the playoffs. And I think all 3 teams are going to be competitive the entire length of the season. Now, does that mean the Steelers don't finish 3rd in the division at, say, I don't know, 9-8 and squeak in as a wild card, or 10-7? That's the case. But and the Browns and Ravens could still be better. I don't think it means all 3 of those teams can't make the playoffs, though. And I don't think their preseason results give us any reason to think that the Ravens are any better or worse than they were back in January.
Well, that is an incredible statistic. We should all be putting money on the Ravens in preseason games. And it makes sense in a way. They always draft well, always. So their second string and third string guys are probably better than other teams, and that probably explains that record. I'm not sold on them. I certainly think they're a playoff team. I really think Lamar Jackson regressed last season. And, yeah, he's great against bad defenses, but if you look at what he's done the last couple of seasons against top 5, top 10 defenses, it's really not impressive. And so, yeah, they'll be a playoff team, but do I view them as a legitimate Super Bowl contender? Not completely sold on them. Yeah, they'll put up 11 or 12 wins. I don't doubt that. But I look at them as good and not great.
Josh, let me ask you a question, Josh. Let me jump in. You got one quarterback for this year. Do you want Roethlisberger or Lamar Jackson for 17 games?
For 17 games, probably Lamar Jackson. I understand what you're saying, but I'm also not sold on him being a Super Bowl guy. Ben Roethlisberger's beaten a lot of good teams in his day. Lamar hasn't. I think it's a fascinating division. I think all 3 of the teams at the top are potentially really, really good. The Steelers probably have the toughest schedule, and that might come back to bite them. But this is a scary good division. The Bengals are bad, but they still have some talent, too. They're going to be a fun kind of bad to watch.
All right, I'm going to give you guys a choice. Now we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 quarterbacks. Rookies I'm going to throw out. I know there's a lot more yet to be determined.
Bob, have a glass of water. You're getting a frog in your throat.
You get old, Andrew. That'll happen to you, too. It just occasionally occurs when you least expect it, and I don't have water
The man just called an entire preseason game last night, Andrew. Cut him some slack.
Correct.
All right, here we go. Trevor Lawrence, Zach Wilson, Trey Lance, Mac Jones, your favorite, Andrew, and Justin Fields. Josh, which of these 5 quarterbacks, because we see busts all the time. I mean, last night Jared Goff's in Detroit. He shouldn't even be here based on being #1 overall. Josh Rosen can't even find a job. So somebody's not going to pan out here. Which of these 5 will be the best quarterback this year? Will it be Lawrence, Wilson, Trey Lance, Mac Jones, or Justin Fields?
Yeah, the smart money's on Lawrence, but I just have a funny feeling about Trey Lance. I think that's a perfect offense for him and a really well-coached team, and don't underestimate that. For rookie quarterbacks, I think whoever your coaches are makes a big difference, which of course makes you look to New England and makes you wonder. But I think Trey Lance, it could go either way with him. I just think he's a really tantalizing talent. He's in an offense that's tailor-made for him. It's a pretty good team already. I just have a feeling about him. I think he's the real deal. And I think, honestly, a lot of these guys might be. I'm not sold on Fields. I admit I'm a little biased against Ohio State quarterbacks. I don't trust them. But this could be a really great quarterback class.
You know, I like the call of Lance there, Josh. I think you're probably right. He's the one that I agree will show us the most this year. I think long-term, Fields is still the guy, as long as they can keep him from getting killed in Chicago. He took a hit last night that was just absolutely brutal. And I think he'll actually be the starter in Chicago by week 5, week 6, because of Andy Dalton being in front of him. And I think that's going to be underwhelming for the Bears, and Matt Nagy's going to have to pull the trigger quick if he really believes that Fields is the guy. And I think he could be the guy there.
Bob, is the question this year or long term? What did you say?
The question is this year. I want to know about this year because, Garoppolo's still ahead of Lance out there. He may not even get the shot. But at the end of the day, you're going to look at this year's crop about this year's production. What do you say?
Well, I think based on that, Lawrence will play all 17 games. Now, I'm with Josh. I think he's an all-time prospect. He's generational like an Andrew Luck or John Elway. But he's going to a horrible destination. I think Urban Meyer's a nincompoop. I think he's got no business in pro football. To me, he's just like John Gruden. He couldn't say no to the money. His first NFL practice, his first time he wore a whistle at an NFL practice and blew it as a coach was 2 months ago. Never has any assistant qualifications in the league either. But, I think Lawrence, by process of elimination, he'll get the most playing time, will be the best one. But I don't like him long term. The Jags have won 3 playoff games in 20 years. I think the organization is a dumpster fire.
All right, we're going to be coming back with more discussion. This time we're going to flip it over to the Pirates, and Gregory Polanco, El Cafe, is now kind of decaf. We'll talk about that when we come back right here on the #1 Cochran Sports Showdown.